first thing you want to do when you're going to start a chalk painting project is to clean your piece of furniture. I like to use Zep. It really takes off all the grease and wax that have built up over 30, 40, 50 years. I've already cleaned this piece. Basically just spray it on, wipe it off with just plain water, and you're good to go. Okay, this project I'm going to use two colors. I'm going to use the Emperor Silk Red from Annie Sloan, and then also turquoise from Valspar, both chalk paints. So with chalk paint, you don't have to sand. You have to do all your repairs. If you have anything that needs to be fixed, go ahead and do that beforehand. And pour your chalk paint into a secondary container and just get a little bit, maybe 1/4 of a cup when you first start out. And I got these at Home Depot, and it's really nice for your paint. Clean off your tip. Just plain water, because otherwise the chalk builds up around the edge. I use just a regular brush, one that has a slant to it, and you're just going to get a little bit of paint, because what happens is it starts drying out, and then you're going to get little chunks of the chalk on your project. So after this starts, you painted all this, wash your brush in your bowl again, and then come back and do some more paint. So we're just going to go on. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. I'm basically just putting the paint wherever I see. It doesn't matter if you get full coverage, especially for this project, because I'm going to do a second paint on top. And what will happen is when I distress it, the red will show through with the blue on top. And it'll give it a real vintage feel to it. So I'm basically just tapping my brush in there. So you can see I have very little paint on there. And if you can see the top, you're just painting like this. You can see I've missed spots here and there. That's fine. After you finish this coat, if you want, you can go back with a second coat and just add water to your paint and then just go over it. But with the distressed look, you kind of want some of that wood grain to show through, or another color that you've had put through. And you can see how fast this goes. I'll be able to get this done today and take it down to Blue House Vintage tomorrow for sale. Okay, so I'm almost to the bottom of my red. So there's a little bit left in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put just a couple drops of water, and I'll get so much more paint out of that without having a watered down paint like you would with the latex paint. So that little bit of paint did this whole entire thing. And see how fast it dries. This is already dry down here. It dries super quick. But I always like to wait at least, well, when it's hot, at least an hour to 2 hours in between, just because it really sets in and it gets really hard, and it just becomes a great coverage on the paint. If you go too fast and try to put another coat on it, you're just going to lift up what you have. Okay, so now I'm going to add just a little bit of water. I have my peanut butter cup, just full of water. And I'm just a dab. Just a dab, that's all you need. Okay, so I've got that much water in there. You can see that. I'm going to take my brush and just move it all around in there. And I'm going to use just the last part of this paint. So you can see here, It's a little bit watery, but not too watery. It's still going to go on there. Okay, so now I'm going to do right here. See how much paint I'm getting? Now it's not as thick as the top, but that's okay, because I can always go back if I need to, but I like the way this looks. I don't want it to be perfect. That's not the look that I'm going for. I want it to look like it's aged, like it's been sitting in grandma's house for 50 years, and it's got chip paints, or she's repainted it a few times or whatever. But yeah, you don't want to have full coverage. Don't try to paint like you were painting your walls or something in your house with your latex paint. So we're just going to go around and around with this and see how much paint I'm getting out of that. And I can even go one more time probably and add some water to it. And this paint just goes a long ways. Especially the red. It has a lot of pigment in it. There we go. I think this table is from the 40s, just by the style of it and the feel of the wood. Yep, I'm almost to the end. So I'm going to try to add just a little bit more water. I might have to just add a little bit of paint. It's getting kind of thin over here, but I've used all of the paint in here, and my brush, it still has a little bit more in there, but I'm going to add just a little bit more paint and continue on around the side. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of water, because red is always really thick compared to all the other paints. Always clean off the chalk, or otherwise you're going to get dried pieces in your bowl. So this is how much paint I have in there. You can see that. It's just a small amount. And I'm going to add just a tiny bit of water to it to keep it going around on the sides here. So you can see just a little bit of water right here. That's all I put in there. And I'm going to just swirl around a little bit and use my brush just to kind of mix it all in. Now I've got all that red paint that I can use. But totally different than latex, right? I mean, you would never have latex paint like that and be able to do anything with it. So I'm just continuing to go around. And I usually paint my furniture upside down. I do everything first, all the bottoms, underneath. It's really a lot easier that way. And then I do the top last. But today I'm going to show it this way. Okay, so I'm almost to the end here, and look how far I've gone with that small amount of paint. And you're probably thinking, wow, that looks really sloppy. You missed a whole bunch of spots. That's okay. We got a plan here. We got a good plan. It's going to look awesome. Right now, I am in love with red, everything turquoise, and copper. I just think those colors are amazing together. Okay. So, we've gotten that much done. We got the table all the way around. And you see I've putting painter's tape down here. There's some metal, oh, I missed one. Metal clasp over the wheels. Cool table, right? So I'm going to continue and paint the bottom legs, and then when we come back, we're going to paint the turquoise color right on top. It'll be awesome.